So today I want to give you three things. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. It's Don Skaggs again with Empowered Inventing, the one place where we try to help you help other people by taking innovation and opportunity and turning them into real, tangible things like products and businesses that make real tangible things like money. So today I want to give you three things. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And I think this quote, although I think Arthur Ashe is kind of noted to that specific quote, I kind of like the Theodore Roosevelt, probably the one it was based on. It says, do what you can with what you have where you are. And it kind of says the same thing, really. And so many inventors and entrepreneurs out there they're waiting for their ship to come in. They're waiting for the conditions to be just right. Well, guess what? They're never going to be just right. You have to start where you are. Now, here's a great example of that. This is a piece of what's called corrugated plastic. And think of a corrugated, paper box, like they make boxes out of. Let me hold this up so you can see. It's got little like fluted pieces in the inside. And this stuff is, I actually was building a prototype, and this was years ago, building a prototype for a client, and I came across this material and I thought, they make a lot of signs out of this. You'll see them at gas stations. They'll use them like for the big stand-up signs, and I've seen them used in a lot of different places. But this particular version here, it's thicker and it's really stiff. This is like hard stuff. And I just thought, what all things could you make out of this stuff? So I actually built a prototype, not out of this particular materials, it was a little lighter version of this. But I actually built, I think the Franken type that I built for this particular product I'm thinking of was probably, again, glue sticks, duct tape, cardboard, real cardboard. But then the real version, the demo type, I actually made out of this stuff because it worked that well. And it took some ingenuity, it took some thought, some development, but it pulled it off, and it worked very, very well, by the way. So, but I just wanted to show this to you just to give you an idea. This is a piece of corrugated plastic. It's commonly used in a lot of places. You can buy them in just a huge number of places. This is great prototyping material if you've got something you can build that you need this type of material to build. Something flat, something very, very strong, something you can piece together. There's just, my mind runs wild with the possibilities of all the things you could do with something like this. And this is just one really small example of what you can do with what you have, starting where you are, using what you have, using what is available out there. I love, and I heard somebody tell this, it's a military term, I think. Somebody was doing a presentation one time, and he was showing his product, and he had a military background, and he said, we use COTS, C-O-T-S, and I thought, what does that mean? I got to find that out. He said it stands for components off the shelf, which means you're not having to reinvent the wheel with a lot of these materials. And so you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have lots of money. You don't have to have lots of resources. You can find things that are cheap, they're off the shelf, and you can do a lot with them. And now there's some instances where you might have to mold something. Of course, there's 3D printers, 3D printing now. That's really making some strides forward. And actually, I've got a question. If you hold on to the end, I've got a special question if you need a molded part, if you're looking to get into molding or need that for your product that I want to ask. So stay tuned for the end for that, by the way, a little teaser. But anyway, what I'm saying is with this stuff, you don't need a lot of money and a lot of resources. And that's part of using what you have and doing what you can. And don't play the don't end up playing the I can't do that because game. Oh, Don, I can't do that because we need to have this specialized thing that we need to spend $10,000 on. Or I can't do this because I don't have this skill set. or I can't do this because, and you could go on forever. And people who have that mentality fall into the trap of never doing anything because they always find a reason why they can't. And if you try hard enough, you can come up with lots of reasons that'll keep you in the same place forever, just spinning your little wheels and never moving forward with anything. But what I'm saying is do what you can with what you have right where you are. And that takes resourcefulness. Not just resourcefulness, but resourcefulness and creativity. If you take resourcefulness, finding stuff like this, you take your own creativity and you mix that together with it, guess what you have? You end up with an innovation. That's what you have. So using what you have may force your creativity to invent new things. If you are forced to use what you have, and this is the amazing part about this, and this is why a just individual, independent inventing is so great, because we don't have all of these big cushy tools that maybe multinational corporations have. Guess what? They get their innovation stifled. Why? Because they get everything handed to them. When you don't have all those resources and you just are scrounging with what you have where you are, the innovation quotient goes way up. It really does. So take that, it's going to force you, it's actually going to can be an advantage if you take what you have and do what you can with it. That is where so many innovations have come from. So inventory your strengths is another thing. And so find out what you are really good at, outsource what you're not really good at, and work with people. And maybe you're not good at this kind of stuff, but you can find an expert in this kind of stuff, and maybe a material that you need. And then guess what? You're standing on the shoulders of another expert. All of a sudden you're elevated a whole nother level up. So use your own creativity, inventory those strengths of yours, and play them. Play them. I'm really good at finding things. That's one of my gifts, I guess, is finding things. I've always had people that I've worked with closely tell me that, Don, if you can't find something, ask Don Skaggs. He can find it. So I was really good at sourcing things, finding things, especially stuff like this, and things that you wouldn't normally think of using in a certain place. So that was one of my strengths. So I would inventory that strength and I would use it to the nth degree to try to move forward. Everything else I would outsource. So also you'll never start if you think you have to be somewhere else first. If you think that the conditions have to be perfect, you will never set out and take that next step. I've seen more inventors stifled over that one thing than I've seen a lot of other things. Is that it's just, okay, well, I'm just going to wait until, I just need to wait until this happens. I just need to wait. And again, guess what's going to happen? It's that I can't do that because game, and you won't move forward. So while you're doing all this, though, while you're inventorying your strengths, you're resourcing, you're using resourcefulness, you're adding creativity while you're doing all these things, be growing. Very important. Don't go stagnant. Start with what you have, and that forces you to start building those important inventor-entrepreneur muscles. So you're moving forward. You're flexing those muscles because you're doing things. Have a plan and follow the plan, and be diligent about staying with the plan on time. And then always be acquiring wisdom. And that's one of the mantras here is learn, plan, and do. First thing, you have to acquire the wisdom. Wisdom is like gold. You have to acquire it first. You acquire it two ways. You learn from other people, and you learn from your own mistakes. And usually the other people part is a lot cheaper, even if you're taking a class or whatever. It's a lot cheaper than making those mistakes on your own. So anyway, I'm Don Skaggs. I hope this was helpful for you. Like I said, I had a little question at the end. Are you an inventor, entrepreneur, product developer, and you're at a point where you have to have a molded part? And if so, I'm trying to find out how many inventors out there are in that stage, are looking at that. So I just want to hear from you. Send me an email, info@kyinventors.org. And just let me know a little bit of what you're working on. You don't have to tell me what it is. And don't have to, if it's not ready for prime time or to disclose, then just tell me what you can about it, or just let me know that you're looking for molding resources. So we're trying to help people a little bit with this, and just find out a little more. We're doing some exploratory things, and so we want to see how we can help some people that way. So anyway, again, I'm Don Skaggs. This is Empowered Inventing, and I'll look to see you at the next meeting, workshop, class, or on the next video.